You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. And it's going to be a different episode of the podcast today because we're going to be just having a casual discussion on a topic within cricket today. And joining me is my good friend Aaryan from the Direct Hit. I've been on his channel many times before. Me and him had a bit of an idea to come together and speak about a topic of our choice. And that's what we're doing today. So Aaryan, welcome. It's great to have you on the channel finally after so many times on your channel. It's great to have you on my channel.
Great to be here. Great to be here, Jack. And hello to everyone. So just decided it was a spur of the moment thing. So let's get started. I think on the topic.
Yes, absolutely. And for our topic today, Aaryan, you and me decided to talk about the international schedule. Does the international schedule need a revamp? It's been in the news of late, hasn't it? With Ben Stokes retiring. 3 formats. Is it sustainable? The ICC announced their future tours program draft for the next 4 years from 2023 to 2027, and it's quite compacted. A lot of T20 leagues domestically are on the rise. So what are the solutions? Does the ICC need to fix the schedule around? Because it's just too much cricket at the moment. Even for fans, we can't keep up with everything that's going on.
Actually, yes, with these all format players kind of now taking retirements. I was just seeing a video today. If you count the players, it's Ross Taylor in 2022 specifically who took retirement. So it's Ross Taylor, it's Ben Stokes, and Lendl Simmons, Kieron Pollard. Some of names that we have been seeing for years now, and that's the thing. Players are human beings after all. They're not robots. So their bodies, the toll will be taken on them. Even for Virat Kohli as an Indian fan, I feel that it's a bit too much right now, and the effects of the old body is starting to show on him. So he's not as bubbly a character as he was earlier, as you all know, seeing him for so many years. So I think it's not the schedule; it's the management of the players that needs to be taken more care of. And that's why you see, Jack, 2 Indian teams playing in different areas, 2 Australian teams now playing in different areas, because you need to take care of your players. And that's why people are resting. No Bumrah, no Kohli in this West Indies tour that's currently going on, because you have, as you said, future tours program, you have World Cups, you have the Champions Trophy coming back in the future. So that's what is gonna be. And I think international schedule um, just needs, teams now need format specific players. Like, this player is my T20 player, this is my test, and this is my one day. So that's the thing I think teams need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think fans have to expect that you're not going to have the main players playing every format, every game. Like with India at the moment, no Kohli, no Rohit Sharma, no Bumrah. But all teams are doing that at the moment. And it's just so much cricket. And Ben Stokes said, we're not cars. You can't expect us to go long range. And, he used that analogy that he said when he announced his retirement. And he's right. There's too much cricket on. Does the ICC have a responsibility, Aaryan, to players' mental health and well-being? Because I have had this discussion with Mark from Opening Up on our cricket discussion that we did on the podcast a few months ago about this. And, it is going to be a problem with the amount of cricket being played. And cricket's very different because you're traveling and flying from country to country, whereas in other sports, you're not doing so much travel by plane. It's more by bus or something like that. But cricket's very different. You're on a tour for a few months and it gets to you after a while. So does the ICC need to, just have a meeting with cricket boards and just have a good discussion about the schedule? Because with the future tours program that they've announced recently, it doesn't look like they've taken any advice, or they don't have a plan or a direction or a structure that is sustainable, because at the moment it's not sustainable. So your
Uh,
thoughts on that?
ICC, I think they're kind of looking for something, making profits, right? Because you see the FTP, that's the Future Tour programs. T20 leagues have been scheduled there, so you got PSL, other leagues, right? So it's a T20 league expansion, you can call it. The bilateral series, which have no meaning for me. These are just about the rankings, which team goes up, which team goes down. No one's becoming world champions by winning one or two games. Now they introduced the ODI Super League table, but that's only relevant for a few teams, because anyhow, India, like for example, the next World Cup next year, India is already going through. So the top eight go through, and it's just for the low tier teams that these things have been done, so that they get an opportunity and incentive to play for something. So ICC needs to look at it, and I think it's the responsibility of the boards to some extent to push the ICC. If the boards do not push the ICC to say that okay, you need to hear us, you need to take our suggestion, then the ICC will do whatever it wants. And few of the boards right now, like the West Indies, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, they don't have that much authority. BCCI, ACB, ECB, some extent Cricket New Zealand. These are the four or the five boards that are in the, you can say, the bracket of ICC. So everybody needs to come together. It's not a one person job to push the ICC, to revamp the schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. Will that happen? Remains to be seen. The ICC are slow to change, and cricket's slow to change as well. But cricket's a vastly different game to what it was 20 years ago. You didn't have much cricket at all. It was quite spaced out. You had test matches, you had ODIs. T20 cricket didn't come along until 2003, and then the first T20 International was in 2005. And then the IPL came in 2008, and it changed all that. So it is different times that we're living in. T20 cricket's more of a family game to families in cricket now. Test cricket's more time consuming, but it's the traditional form. And, I can speak for you, Aaryan, and obviously for everyone else, we love Test cricket. It's a
Yeah,
great format.
yeah,
It's just a wonderful just to sit down and watch a test match for 5 days, but not a lot of people can do that. Go to the
yes.
ground. Test matches are during the week,
Mm,
and Test cricket was invented in a time that was different to now.
mm.
Attention spans are not as good as they are
Wow.
now as they were back then. In the older generation, like our grandparents and their great grandparents, etc.
Mhm.
The attention spans are quite different now because of technology and distractions that we have in this world. So it's
Yeah,
very hard for a young kid to sit and watch a test match for 5 days or
yeah,
a
yeah,
day's play. And T20 cricket allows you to go to the ground for 3 hours and watch 20 overs and then go home.
yeah.
But we all know amongst cricket fans, and some people within cricket don't like T20 cricket. They've made their views very clear. We all know that. But it's up to you. It's your personal preference. But obviously, it is a concern, Aaryan, where these T20 leagues, the IPL is expanding. We just saw that in the Future Tours program. It's gone out to June now. And there will be no international cricket on during the IPL. We
Yeah,
all know that.
yeah,
They
yeah,
want
yeah,
the best players playing,
yeah.
and that is a concern. Yes, T20 cricket has its pros and cons, and there's a lot of good things about it. Also, some negative things about it as well. But yeah, just looking at the schedule for the next 4 years, they are popping up more and more, and players'
Mm.
priorities would change. So how do you see that going in the future, Aaryan? Do you think T20 cricket will take over um, cricket in general and then push out one-day cricket? Because there's been a discussion about one-day cricket as
Yeah,
well. Is
that's
that relevant now in these
that,
times? Do you
that's
think that will be pushed out? T20 cricket will be pushed more up, and then we'll have test matches and T20s instead of ODIs and get rid of that, because of what people have been talking about over the last few days and weeks about the schedule and about ODI
Yeah,
cricket. Does it have any relevance? Because you mentioned the ODI Super League before there, and the ICC are getting rid of that next cycle. What was the
yeah,
point of bringing it in anyway? And we
yeah,
saw what happened with South Africa in Australia, that
exactly,
series. So it
exactly.
just questions the relevance and do teams take ODIs seriously now? So your thoughts on that, Aaron? I know it's a bit of a long-winded answer there, but be interesting to hear what you have to say on that, on T20 cricket in the future and about one-day cricket as well.
One day cricket, I think Usman Khawaja just gave a statement on this one day thing. I think that's going to be pushed out, and that's only going to be relevant in the year prior to the ODI World Cup. That's the only relevance that the ODI format will have, because see, it's tough for someone to go to a stadium and sit for 50 overs in that heat. I have experienced that. I went to an India New Zealand game. Okay, it's the power play. It's good. The power play, when New Zealand are batting, fielders are in the circle. You're getting fours and sixes, but in the middle phase, it gets a bit dull. The one day phase. So people, even the last game, I didn't even if I'm an Indian fan, it was hard for me to just sit and watch 50 overs, because see, if you see in a normal person's life, there are other things he needs to do. So you start a one day game, you're a cricket fan, you're checking on Google, you're sitting on TV, but you need to do other things as well. So you don't have that much time to sit throughout the whole day and see the 50 overs ball by ball, which is a very tough thing. So people can't do that. The thing with test match cricket is, okay, if not today, then tomorrow. If not, then tomorrow, then day after. Some or one or the other day, people can catch up. So that's the advantage of test cricket. But as you said, T20 leagues taking over, yes, definitely yes. T20 leagues will take over, just like football. There'll be like Champions League and all these leagues, and then the World Cup, as I said, will be the main format for the ODI. Otherwise, bilateral series, people won't watch it. That's my take.
Yeah, you make some very good points there. And I saw on the Future Tours program, reading on ESPN Cricket Info, they said they're going to be more bilateral T20 international series that are going to have 5 games in the series. And most of those series include India, which
Hmm.
is no surprise, really, because India bring in the money and the revenue for cricket. But that is quite interesting, isn't it? That an indication by the ICC is that we're going to have more bilateral T20 internationals, which don't mean anything really outside of a World Cup year. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. The relevance is not much there for the format. And again, I'm just reading for the low tier teams. It's good that they are getting more opportunities. The number of games Ireland, Bangladesh, these sides play, they have increased. But again, um, that's damaging for the ODI format. This program. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what sort of a structure do the ICC need to do with the international schedule, Iran? A structure that works year on year rather than just, okay, we'll just plan it for the next 4 years, but, we'll just see how it goes. There needs to be some sort of a structure, some sort of a structure that is repeatable and sustainable for a long period of time. Do you think they need to come up with a new schedule, probably have windows and different sections for uh, each format, right? You play Test cricket in this window, and then you play ODIs in this window, and then you play T20s in this window, plus T20 leagues as well. Do you think they need to do something like that, or
Yeah, it is a possible solution, Jack. But then the problem comes that you are having a test championship, and the schedule for that cannot be hindered.
mm,
So you cannot have a separate window for the whole test championship. It has to be series by series. So that is the main problem that will come if you want to separate the windows for test cricket. So that's out of the question. As far as the T20 leagues are concerned, see, IPL, it'll do whatever it wants, and it'll stay. So as you said, no international cricket for, let's say, March, April, May, June. 4 months, no international cricket, and that's gonna be 8 months left in the whole year. So during those 8 months, what leagues are happening in which area, that will determine the availability of the international players, right? And accordingly, maybe the ICC can schedule one days and T20 series. Maybe that's a solution that they can come up with. But as you said, it remains to be seen what they'll do or they won't.
Yeah, absolutely. The ICC are the governing body, and they need to come up with these solutions and problems. And I sort of think they sort of ignore the fans a little bit there. I think, but cricket boards, they don't tend to listen to the fans anyway. They tend to do their own thing, what suits them, and what makes them revenue and money, obviously. But let's talk about Ben Stokes. He retired.
Hmm.
Um, I believe he retired at 31, which is quite young for any cricketer to retire at. Retired from ODIs because he said he can't play all three formats anymore. He can't sustain it. And we are going to see more and more players retire,
Hmm.
like Ben Stokes, um, because of the schedule and the demands it has on cricketers. And we sort of take them for granted a bit. We want them to play cricket because we're fans. We enjoy watching them play. But we also got to show a bit of empathy and a bit of compassion and say, you know what, it's tough for them to, jump from one series to another and then country to country, because cricket touring is different to any other sport. You have to fly
Yeah.
to country and, you know, jet lag and all that stuff. It takes a lot out of you.
Hmm.
Um, do you see that more and more in the years to come, around that players are going
Yeah.
to retire like Ben Stokes has done and say, you
Yeah.
know
So
what, give up one format, just focus on two or just the one?
yeah, without a shadow of doubt, Jack. That's gonna be the norm in the future. Even as an Indian fan, I have a feeling that Virat will stop playing T20 cricket, international that is, and just focus on ODI and Test matches, which is his forte. So that because see, IPL he might play because just as MS is playing right now, so that's the financial thing, but. He also needs some rest. So that's gonna be because, as you said, format to format, traveling, a lot of factors come into play when you're talking about the all format players for any team. If we see nation by nation, then you can say Dimut Karunaratna or Babar Azam for that matter. Yes, he's young, he's fit, very good, but for how long? That's the question, right? For Australia, you guys know even Steve Smith, what does he do? Do you guys reckon he'll keep playing T20 cricket, or he'll give that up? So every country has one or two players. Tamim Iqbal, what did he do? Same. Moin Ali. Moin Ali went out. We Adil Rashid, he quit Test cricket. So that's the thing. Players obviously need to look at it, and I feel that's pretty fair. As cricket fans, we should respect that. There's no harm and in saying that okay, this format is no, it's not that they don't want to play, but as Stokesy said, if you want to play for the country, that shirt deserves 100%. And if you don't feel like you're not going to give the 100%, there's no point of playing. So that's the right decision, and as cricket fans we should respect it to the utmost, sincerity.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to respect those decisions made by the players. So it'll be interesting to see in the years to come uh, whether or not they give up one or two formats. But that comes back to what we discussed earlier about ODIs or T20s. Do you think we need to play less ODIs, T20s to make the schedule more easier and play more Test cricket, or do we just get rid of one format, which a lot of people say that should be ODIs at this stage? What do you think about that? Do you think we should play less cricket, less ODIs, less T20s, more emphasis on tests?
Maybe what you can do is 2022 is the T20 World Cup year. Reduce the ODI series, play T20 cricket and Test cricket. That's the solution. You enter 2023 from January 2023, reduce the T20 schedule, increase the ODI schedule and then plan for it. For example, I am really not sure 2024 which ICC event is there, maybe the Champions Trophy. So look at the format, increase the number of games in that format. The, so then your team is getting the preparation for that. But uh, reduce the format for which the main event is not there. So for like T20 World Cup is not 2024 or maybe say 2025. Reduce the T20. I'm not saying don't play T20 at all, but reduce the number of matches in that format. That is one solution you can have, along with Test cricket. Keep Test cricket going, but reduce the number of games you want to play in one format.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that we could consider, the ICC. Obviously, we won't solve every problem in this discussion today, around,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
we are discussing a lot of good ideas that the ICC could consider, or cricket boards as well. But obviously, it is hard to plan international cricket schedules, because they happen years in advance, and it's very hard to guarantee that a series will go ahead. Obviously, as we've seen over the last 2 years, series have been cancelled, postponed, and you got a massive backlog of series that need to be catched up and played again. Um, yeah, it is an interesting debate that people are having about the schedule at the moment. But with Ben Stokes, it's probably raised some questions about the sustainability of cricket going forward. Do you think that the ICC players and cricket boards, do you think the need? We've already discussed it a little bit, but do you think they just need to have a big meeting and a big discussion and say, you know what, let's
Uh,
just sit down, let's just
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
while
it?
you're on that topic, I'm just reading an article. Pakistan has raised concerns over this extended IPL window. So there's an AGM coming up, as you said, of the ICC, and they'll raise the concern that in those 4 months, that means Pakistan is getting no international cricket. If there's a 4 month IPL, Pakistan doesn't get any cricket. So that will be interesting. So that I think answers your question about this meeting. We'll see what happens in this annual general meeting of the ICC, and I think that's the meeting. That is the meeting that will decide the FTP. Maybe some changes, who knows? So that's the thing.
Yes, I did read that article as well, and it was a concern that they raised as well. But excuse me, that does go back to what we've talked about: T20 leagues, the rise of that, and players prioritizing that over international cricket, as we saw with South Africa pulling out of the ODI series against Australia. So it
Yeah,
just further um, asks questions about um, ODIs and the relevance of it, because South Africa conceded that we weren't going to qualify for the World Cup directly. We want to focus on our T20 league in January,
yeah.
because it was clashing with the Australia series at that time. So we just thought, well, we'll take our chances in the World Cup qualifiers and see if we can be the top two teams that go through to the World Cup next year. That's a bit of a risk that they've taken. So it just shows that the relevance of ODI cricket today, is it needed? Is it fitting in with cricket? A lot of people have said it isn't. So be interesting to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments of this episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll love to hear your thoughts and ideas about the schedule, what needs to be improved, what needs to be fixed. Me and Aaryan's discussed many topics and some solutions that we could implement to fix the schedule. But at the end of the day, it's up to the ICC to do all that stuff. For us cricket fans, we can only suggest and talk about it like we are today. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens there. But it is a harsh reality that you are going to see more and more players retire.
Mm.
You are going to see more and more cricket being played, and something's got to give at the end of the day. Something's got to give. It's either one format goes, or the players raise concerns about their mental health or well-being, which is very important thing to look out for in everyone. Aran, how do you see that panning out? What do you think is going to be the breaking point that really makes the ICC say, you know what, we should do something about it?
It will be when you start losing cricket fans over the players retiring, and then it'll strike ICC in the head, and then they'll do something. That's the only thing. When cricket starts to lose its fans because their favorite players are retiring due to the scheduling, and it'll happen when fans understand that why is it happening, and it can be frustrating also. We gotta respect it, but it can be frustrating for some fans who are a very die-hard fan of that particular player. So just imagine the people who like Ben Stokes, who admired him, won't get to see him on the field for England in one-day cricket. That's a shame. That's a real shame. So yeah, once if I'm saying um, this happens, that the fan following is decreasing, ICC will take action like this, because then if the fans go, then the revenue go, if the revenue goes, then the broadcasters go. So every stakeholder plays a role in it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, we talked about ODI cricket a bit and the future of that, and we talked about T20 cricket, that being on the rise. What about Test cricket? We've always had these discussions in the past that Test cricket will die in 10 years' time or something like that, but it never does. It's still here. It's still going. It's still popular in amongst cricketing countries. It's still popular, but in some countries it is struggling a bit, like the West Indies, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. There's not many people watching, whereas in Australia, England, who love Test cricket, there's loads of crowds that come and watch the Test matches in those countries. And New Zealand, there's a lot of people that watch the game over there, given that it's a rugby country, and cricket's second over there. But that's great to see, and they've had brilliant success in ICC tournaments, World Test Championship winners, and World Cup finalists in 2015 and 2019, and last year T20 World Cup finalists against Australia. And unfortunately, they couldn't win the final there. But where do you see Test cricket around in the future? Do you think it will stick around? Do you think it will only be reduced to 6 teams or less in the
I don't
future?
think so. I don't think so. Test cricket means to bat long, to stay there, and I think Test cricket will just stay there. It'll keep batting on and on and on. It'll hold one end up, as they say in cricket. So yeah, uh, the championship actually did well for itself in the first year. I think there was no harm, and the teams had an incentive to push for the top two spot. Right now, it looks like Australia versus South Africa Test Championship final, but anything can happen. The only thing I didn't like was when India got robbed by just sitting there of the first position, and the system changed from points to percentage. So now what has happened is India are losing, and even Pakistan are on the rise. But when a team loses a test match, the percentage gets hit very badly. So if it was a point system, the points won't get affected that much. But now it's the percentage. The percentage gets hit. You even noticed that when Sri Lanka won, Australia got dropped to second suddenly. They were on the top, but now they're on the top again. So that's the thing. The percentages take a huge hit rather than the points. That's the only flaw I see in the Test Championship. Otherwise, it's doing great for itself for now.
Yeah, yeah, of course it is. In terms of giving context and relevance to Test cricket, do you think the ICC need to do more in terms of supporting lesser nations like Zimbabwe, Afghanistan, Ireland, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, who don't have much money and are struggling in some cases from time to time? Even the West Indies as well, getting people in watching cricket. Do you think they need to do more, the ICC? Because it's pretty much it's not equal amongst cricketing countries. Obviously, the big three, Australia, India, England, are pretty much the top nations in terms of money and revenue, and then you have everyone else. So do you think they need to do more, or do you think those cricket boards need to share the money around and say, we're here for one purpose, and that's to promote the game and not think about ourselves. So how do you see that
Huh. I
panning
think
out?
that boat has sailed long time ago. The bridge which you say, the bridge between the top three and the rest has been created, and now it's a too far fetched, and it's very hard to fix it. From what I see it, but the lower nations have picked up. Afghanistan, excellent progress. I haven't seen a better progress. Zimbabwe have pushed themselves and qualified, which is very, very heartening to see. In that T20 World Cup qualifiers, they will be there. And then Netherlands have been doing well. Ireland, you've seen the recent cricket they have played. Oh my God, they've pushed India, they've pushed New Zealand. So it's not that they're not coming up. The lower nations are coming up, and that's good because India is going there. India is going to Zimbabwe after I don't know 4, 5, how many years. So the teams are going there. That's what ICC needs to do. Discuss with the boards, send teams there. Even if, because Zimbabwe, Jack, the crowd turns up. Whenever there are games in Zimbabwe, the crowd will turn up because of the scarcity of the games. So that's good. Teams are going, and that's all we need. The teams to visit these countries. Even Pakistan. Yeah, you must have heard, right? 7 match T20 series, something like that. England are supposed to visit there. So that's good. The big three need to go. They need to go places to get the revenue. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing, really, because those lesser countries, they don't play much Test cricket as it is. Zimbabwe, Afghanistan, and Ireland, they haven't played a Test match for quite some time. As you said, the responsibility of the other cricketing nations to tour them. The only way they're going to get better in Test cricket is by playing top countries in Test cricket. That's the only way they're going to get better. But we need to see more of that. Even if they're not included in the World Test Championship, which they're not, it's only 9 teams. Even if it's not a part of the World Test Championship, at least go over there, do what's right for the game, and
Yeah,
help them out and make them better as a cricketing nation. If you want
yeah,
them to be competitive and good at Test cricket, they've got to play more games to get better and improve. Because the more you do something, the more better you'll get at it
mm.
um, over a long period of time. So it's quite interesting to see what happens in the future there. Um, any last final thoughts, Aram, before we wrap up today's episode? It's been a great episode. It's been great talking to you about the international schedule, about other things within cricket. Any other things that you think we should raise before we end today's episode of the podcast?
Well, I think we covered pretty much of it, but again, the coming months will be interesting to see what happens with these low tier teams. How are they shaping up? I mean, right now Sri Lanka is playing Pakistan, and these South Africa are in action. India, West Indies are in action, and that's what you want. Bangladesh just clean swept them 3-0. They couldn't even get 200, and suddenly, come India, they push India to the brink. So, for ODI cricket to just, as you said, it's dying, it's shading away. You need close games. That's what you need in ODI cricket. You need competition, so that the teams, so even you push these teams to the brink, like New Zealand, you push India to the brink, people will come and watch you. They'll take notice that okay, you did well against them. So that's what you need to do as slightly low tier teams, and well, we can only hope for the best. And yeah, let's see what the future holds for cricket fans, cricket players, and everybody who are involved with the game.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Aran, for joining me today. It's
No
been
worries,
great
pleasure.
talking to you. It's been a long time since we had a
Yeah.
chat about
Yeah.
cricket. It's been months actually, and thank you to everyone watching as well. Aran, you've got your own YouTube channel, The Direct Hit.
Yeah.
Tell us about that before we wrap up today's episode, so
Yeah,
people
so
can go and
it's
see what you're doing.
oh yeah, it's pretty much similar to Jack. They're just discussing cricket, posting videos, just whatever bit of a knowledge I have about the game. So I just try and pass it on, have chats with people around the game, and that's how we cricket geeks pass our time like this. So go and check it out. and would appreciate if you can give it a thumbs up. So yeah, that's the thing. We love cricket, and we just, it's all for the passion. It's nothing related with money or subscribers. Yes, there is something, when you started off, you are, on that mindset. So anyone, young cricket fan who wants to get into this line, it's not about subscribers and it's not about money. Just enjoy the journey, and those things will follow. So yeah, that's the thing. Go check it out and keep supporting Jack. He's doing great. This is a new thing he's doing. So yeah, give him all the support you can.
Well, thank you, Aran. Very kind words there. And yes, go check out the Direct Hit channel. Subscribe to them. I'm subscribed to Aran's channel, so go and check it out. We'll leave some links to his channel in the description of this episode
Okay.
down below, so you can check it out. But thank you, everyone, for sticking with us in this episode today, talking about the international schedule. Does it need a revamp? Well, we'd love to hear your comments down below in the comments section on this. What are your ideas and solutions? Does the ICC need to do more? Do we need to give away a format? Let us know in the comments down below. I love reading everyone's comments when they do comment about certain things within the game of cricket. But thank you, everyone. Before we go, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast. Like and share our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Also, the podcast is now available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.